Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Vechiroid deck profile. Now this deck is actually really interesting. It was played by Cyrus Truesdale, Zane's little brother, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime. It's a really interesting deck because it can summon a 5,000 monster that flips its attack and defense. And moves. Mobile base is really interesting because you can put it in your extra monster zone and then it'll move itself out of the extra monster zone as well. And it's just a really fun deck to play around. It has like Draconic Diagram in a way in this deck. It has a field spell that kind of does that. But it's just an overall fun deck. It's pretty cheap as well. You can probably get this deck for maybe around $40-ish for the main deck and the extra deck included, except for the really pricey stuff that are staples. But other than that, guys, let's get straight on this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll get straight on into this. So, if you are a part of the notification squad, by the way, guys, don't forget to comment down there and tell me what you think is the deck profile. And if you do, and tell me you are, I'll give you guys a big heart. So, first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Expressroid. Basically, this card's effect is that when this card is summoned, you get to target 2 Roid monsters in your graveyard except itself. And then you get to add those targets to your hand. Now, the cool thing is about Expressroid is with the combination of Ambulance-Roid, which I play at 3 in this deck as well. Ambulance-Roid says that when a Roid monster is added from your graveyard to your hand, you get to special summon that monster. So the combo is that if you can get Ambulance-Roid on the field first and then summon Expressroid, you can get additional special summons. You get to special summon those 2 monsters that you added to your hand instead. So it gives you 4 monsters on the field, which can allow you to go into some really good link plays. Then we play 3 copies of Mixeroid. Mixeroid's effect is that you contribute 1 machine monster you control, and then you get to special summon a 1 wind, non-wind Roid monster from your deck. And then you can pay half your life points to banish any number of machine monsters from your graveyard, including this card, and then special summon from your extra deck 1 Roid fusion monster with the same level as the number of banished monsters, ignoring its summoning conditions. Usually we use that late game, and it's kind of a sleeper card in the graveyard that your opponent kind of forgets about. The next card that I play is, it's debatable if you play it or not. I like it as a one-of, and that's 1 copy of Armoroid. Some people don't play this at all, and I don't really blame them because it can kind of be a dead draw if you draw it. But you can tribute summon this card, and when it's tribute summoned, you will be using at least 1 Roid monster, remove and play all spells and traps on the field. I play it as a one-of because sometimes, you will summon Mixeroid and you won't have a big monster to summon and you need a big monster to summon. So I'll use Mixeroid and tribute it and then summon Armoroid onto the field, and then I've got a 2700 beat stick on the field that I just normal summoned, essentially. And so that's why I play it as a one-of. You don't have to play it. I just think it's a good one-of. I probably would never play it as more than 1. And I really liked that I had a super rare first ed of it, and so I threw it in here. Then you play 1 copy of Steamroid. Steamroid, basically, when it attacks, it gets an additional 500 attack points. But if it is attacked, it loses 500 attack points. So it can go to 2300. You usually use this for fusion materials, but it can be a good beat stick. 1 copy of Drilloid. Drilloid's effect is that if it attacks a defense position monster, you instantly destroy that monster without applying damage calculation. 1 copy of Truckroid. It's kind of like Relinquished in a way. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you equip it to this monster, and then it gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters equipped to it. It's really interesting because if you swing at your opponent and and just destroy something, this card can get really big and really fast. And so that's why I play it as a one-of. Then I play 1 copy of Submarineroid. I had an ulti so I figured I'd play it too. Plus, if you have Steamroid, Drilloid, and Submarineroid, you can go into Super Jumbo Drill. It does piercing damage, and if you use Power Bond to summon it, which we play Power Bond in here, you can actually make it a 6,000 monster with piercing, which is amazing. Then I play 3 copies of Silver Gadget, or 2 copies of Silver Gadget and 2 copies of Gold Gadget as well. Just to give me an additional normal summon so I can either link or XYZ into what I need to. I really feel like these cards are needed in here because you can get the additional you can get the additional, like, normal summon as well. And you can get, like, XYZs and stuff like that. Because we can make Utopia the Lightning and swing at our opponent for, like, 5,000 with it. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells, guys. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is just a really good card to play in here because you can, like, stop your opponent from hitting your cards, and you can, like, prevent them from hand trapping you, and that's why we play it. 3 copies of Instant Fusion, the special summon our Vechiroid, which I think is probably the funniest card in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, literally, you're going to summon out a bicycle, and it says you can attack directly with it. So I just see myself picking up a bike and throwing it at my opponent. Like, there used to be an old meme, and I don't know if you guys have seen that, comment down below and tell me you have. There was an old meme, and it was a meme video, and it was like, I attack directly with Vechiroid. And it just, like, the next clip is this guy getting hit with a bike. And it was really funny, and I really fell in love with the card because of that. I think it was Yugioh that actually put that out a long time ago. Like, a long time ago. Then I play 3 copies of Vechiroid Connection Zone. You get to fusion summon a Vechiroid fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and its effects cannot be negated. It's a really good card to play as a good 3 of, because you can just fusion summon really easily with it, and you don't need polymerization in this deck because you have this. You could probably play King of the Swamps instead and play like a polymerization and use that as well, but I just chose to play the 3 Vechiroid Connection Zones. On top of that, I play 3 copies of Power Bond as well. Power Bond just makes Vechiroid come out at it comes out at 32, and it can attack directly, and I only end up taking like 1600 damage from its original attack, so it's not too much of a loss. It doesn't actually make Super Vechiroid mobile base go up any, which isn't a big deal. I'm not that worried about that. I just want to get my Jumbo Drill or get Vechiroid up at higher attack points. 2 copies of Terraforming. Terraforming is just here to search out our Megaroid City, which I play 3 copies of Megaroid City as well. Megaroid City is kind of like Draconic Diagram. That's the best way to say it. You can target one other card on your field and destroy it, and if you do, add a Roid card from your deck to your hand. It also has the ability during damage calculation, if your Roid monster battles, you can send 1 Roid monster from your deck to the grave. Switch the original attack and defense of the battling monster. So like if you attack with mobile base, it can go up to 5k and swing at your opponent for 5k. And then during damage calculation only, and then you can only use the effect of it once per turn, and then you cannot spell summon monster from your extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate either of these effects, which isn't that big deal because we're usually just going to fusion summon anyways. So that's it for the spell cards. Let's get into the traps. And we do actually play traps in here because they have one of the best counter traps in the entire game, in my opinion. 2 copies of Roid Call, Emergent Roid Call. When a spell trap or monster effect is activated while you control a Roid fusion monster, negate the activation and then send all cards with the same name as that card that was activated from the player's deck and extra deck to the grave. Then you banish this card from your grave and then target a Roid monster in your grave and add it to your hand. Which you have Ambulance Roid, you can just instantly special summon it. This card is really good. I wanted to play it at 3. I just couldn't find the room. You could probably, if you don't feel like you want to play the Armoroid, you could probably drop the 1 Armoroid, and play the 3rd Emergency Roid Call, but that's the only thing that I would really change about this deck. And the final card that I play is 3 copies of Supercharge. Supercharge is a draw card. It's like Pot of Greed almost. I had 3 ultis. I ordered the 3 ultis. They were like $1.50 a piece, and so I went ahead and got them. You activate this card, and when your opponent declares an attack, while the only monsters on your side of the field are Machine Roid monsters, and then you get to draw 2 cards. They stack, so you can draw up to 6 if you have all of them set. So it's a really, really good card, and that's why I play it as a 3 of. I would probably maybe bump it down to 2, but I feel like 3 is really good because you want that draw power in this deck. It's a little slow, but once you have mobile base on the field, you're not worried about speeding the game up anyways, because you have a 5,000 body on field, unless your opponent kaijus it. And then you can use this to add it back to your hand. If you have Ambulance Roar, you get to special summon it back on the field. So That's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing 2 copies of Super Vechiroid Mobile Base. This card is basically Optimus Prime. You get to, it takes a 1 Roid monster, that's a fusion monster, and any other Roid monster to summon it. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and special summon 1 Roid monster from your deck or extra deck with it attack less than or equal to that monster's. So that's the big thing, that if you have like Expressroid in your hand, you special summon out from your deck your Ambulance Roid, and then you normal summon out Expressroid, and then you get special summon out a whole bunch of other ones from the grave, and you can just swarm your opponent really easily. It also has the effect of you can only use the effect of it once per turn. And then once per turn, during the end phase, you can target 1 Roid monster you're in your main monster zone other than this card and return that monster you control to your hand. If you do, move this card to that monster's main monster zone. So it moves itself out of the extra monster zone, which is really nice because if like you have Ambulance Roid, you can add the Expressroid back to hand and reuse it next turn to be able to special summon out cards from your grave again. And you can link summon that next turn, which is really nice. Then I play 3 copies of Vechiroid. The reason I play 3 is because you play instant fusion in this deck, and it's really nice to be able to like instant fusion, summon a Roid, or activate Vechiroid connection zone and immediately go into our Vechiroid or our Super Mobile Base, which is nice. So that's the reason I play 3 of it. And plus, if you power bond it, can attack your opponent directly if you use 2 machine monsters with the same name, which is not hard in this deck. You just use 2 Ambulance Roids, 2 Mixeroids, or 2... you can even use silver and gold gadget. Like if you use 2 silver gadgets or 2 gold gadgets, you can make it. Then I play 1 copy of Super Vechiroid Jumbo Drill. It's a little harder to bring out because you have to use Mixeroid to bring it out, or you have to have Steamroid, Drilloid, and Submarine Roid in hand. And then you have to use the above materials to fusion summon it, but it ignores the summoning conditions with Mixeroid, so it doesn't matter. It does piercing damage when you attack, so that's the only thing that it really does. And it can come out at 6,000 if you use Power Bond to summon it, but that's pretty much all it does. It's just a really good 3k beat stick. It's usually what I summon off of Mixeroid by banishing 8 from my grave. Then I play Utopia the Lightning as well, which is 1 copy of Utopia, 1 copy of S39, and 1 copy of Utopia the Lightning, just to be able to OTK my opponent really fast. If I have like Mobile Base on the field, and I use Mobile Base's effect and move itself out of the main monster zone, into the main monster zone, I'll then make Utopia the Lightning off of some normal summoning like Gold Gadget and like anything else, or Silver Gadget plus something, summon this, and then attack my opponent for 5k, and then pass. Like, I mean, that's the big thing that I do. Baguska, just in case you need it, and plus I can make it. An Exciton Knight to blow up boards. Then I play 1 copy of Boral Sword Dragon and 1 copy of Boral Load Dragon, just in case I can make them, which I can very, very easily in this deck with Expressroid, Ambulance Roid. I even thought about playing Yugioh, but I just didn't put it in here. I just don't feel like I need it all that much. You can probably drop a Vechiroid, or if you wanted to, drop Utopia the Lightning. I just really like Utopia the Lightning in this deck, to free up 3 more slots if you want to do something like that, but I just didn't want to rely heavily on Link monsters in this deck. I wanted to rely more on the fusion monsters. Nightmare Unicorn to bounce stuff, and then Mrs. Radiant. The thing you have to keep in mind about Mrs. Radiant is it does take 2 Earth monsters, which would be your targets would be Expressroid, Ambulance Roid, Armoroid, Steamroid, Drilloid, and Truckroid. You can't use the gadgets, Submarine Roid, or Mixeroid to summon it, so that's something that you have to keep in mind. But I figured with the amount of Earth monsters I had in the deck, it was worth it for the Link Arrows. Plus, if you summon it out with Vechiroid, and you power bond to Vechiroid goes up to 37, and then you can swing at your opponent for 37. So it's just really good to have that initial ability. So anyways, guys, that's it for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Please hit that bell down there. Hit Vechiroid's bell so you guys can like ching it. But anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.